Hello and welcome back. This week, the video is about 10 minutes shorter than I normally make these sketch and chats, and that's simply because I did the initial sketching and color tests off camera. I show them really quickly at the beginning, but I just didn't record them because I was feeling a little bit lost and uninspired and not totally sure what I was going to be working on this week. And so I did a lot of my sketching off screen, and then I came up with a really good idea, of course, and I had nothing to show you for the sketching part. So I did a color comp in my new sketchbook this past week. You could watch my sketchbook flip through. I just finished one. There's a lot of cool ideas in there that I do plan on taking further at another time. But I started this new one and I was sketching in it, and I came up with the idea of opposites and I really liked it. So after sketching it out and doing a really quick color comp, I took it into my iPad, much like I did the previous week, and made things more symmetrical and more exact. I didn't bother showing that clip because I showed all of my work in the last sketch and chat from my iPad, and I don't want to be boring and show too much of the same stuff every week. So apologies if you were really looking forward to seeing that, but I don't have it. Anyways, as I said, I came up with the idea that I wanted to show opposites in this piece. I had been trying to think of some different themes so that I wasn't just necessarily drawing a girl on a page, that I had an idea with it. And I feel like I really haven't been stuck in the motif of not having any motifs, but I really wanted to have a strong concept this week. And so one of the main ways I had opposites was, of course, the compositions are flipped from each other. I also tried to make the colors and the values opposite of each other. So one girl has really dark hair and dark skin and dark clothing, whereas the other girl has light skin, light hair, light clothing. And I mixed it up a little bit where I made the darker skinned girl at night and the lighter skinned girl at day. Of course, that is the other opposite. There were a few other things that I worked with. Like I tried to make areas that on one side were orange, more blue on the other side, and that just helped me come up with ways to add variety but still connect them. And one of the biggest ways that I connected the two pieces was I actually made their skin color the same exact, how do I describe this? I made it the same amount of mixture of color. So I made a lot of it and I watered it down and I used it to make the lighter skin. And once I liked that, I mixed the same colors again together in that same little tub, and I used that for the darker skin. So even though one has light skin, one has dark skin, I used the same combination of colors. And then when I put other colors on top, I made sure to use the same colors, but one a lot lighter and one a lot darker. One of the final things I do to this is I added some metallic. At some point in this video, you'll see that I have, it looks like little watercolor pans at the top of my screen. Those are actually, yes, some metallic watercolors. There's some golds. I believe there's a copper. There's some silvers, and I absolutely love that palette, but I didn't end up using it. I ended up using some gel pens because I wanted to get some more precise details, and I thought that they would help me out more. The gel pens were the Uniball Signo. They have some really, really beautiful metallic colors. I have 3 of their metallics. It looks like a yellow gold, a copper, and a silver. The watercolors that I didn't end up using are the Finetech watercolors, and quite recently I bought some more of their colors and I haven't used them a ton. What was really cool is they've actually changed up their packaging, and so instead of the old plastic circles, it's metal and they're square, and you can you can definitely replace colors. You can buy single individual colors and you can pop them out if you only want one, or you can put them back into the case. I really, really like all of their paints. If you buy them and use them and you feel like you're having an issue, what I recommend, and they do say this on their site, is to drop a little bit of water into each of the pans and wait a few minutes and then try to use them. You'll get some really nice, strong colors that way. And in fact, I recommend you do that with all watercolors. That's what I do. As long as I know I'm going to use a color, I try not to put water droplets in all of my paints. I feel like, I don't know, reactivating and letting them dry out without even using them, I know it doesn't hurt them, but I feel like it does. So sometimes I realize later on that I need a color and I have to kind of wait, or I have to just use it as it is. But I try to drop water into my paints and let them activate before I use them, because I feel like it adds a much deeper and more saturated, full color out of your paints. And I really, really like doing that. It was some advice that I hadn't gotten until I got the Finetech paints, and I'm really glad that I got it because it's helped out a lot in a lot of different areas. One of the things that annoyed me with this painting, and it has nothing to do with the actual painting itself, was when I was peeling up the tape at the very end, I accidentally ripped the page, and you can see it in the final shots. It's on the orange page, kind of in the middle of the sketchbook, and it ripped a little bit into the watercolors. I was so frustrated because I felt like when I got to the end of these two paintings, they looked so good and I was so happy with them and proud with their outcome, and then I ripped the page. It's really not that noticeable. I feel like if I hadn't pointed out that it ripped into the painting, you wouldn't have noticed. I think it's super obvious that there is a rip. It just kind of looks bad, but that rip is on the side. That's super obvious, and the rip in the painting isn't that obvious. So I'm actually a little bit ahead with these videos, which is really, really good. I'm at the point now where I'm editing the week that they're due, but I'm creating and filming a week or two prior to them going up. So it's really helpful because I am not super stressed about having to get them out. I know they're filmed and all I really need to do is edit, and the editing process doesn't take too long. The longest part is sitting here and talking with you guys, which I enjoy doing every single week. Hi, thank you for joining me. But because of that, I'm going to briefly tell you guys that I ended up ripping the page after this one too when I was pulling the tape up, and I think it's the type of tape I'm using. It's professional artist tape, so it's not supposed to rip your page. And on top of that, I put it on my pants before I put it on the page, and I use my heat gun when I'm pulling it up. So there's absolutely no reason why it should be ripping my page, especially because my page is high quality watercolor paper. It's supposed to withstand this kind of stuff, but for some reason it didn't. And I remember in the past having problems with this watercolor paper, and not this watercolor paper, having problems with this tape on watercolor paper. And I thought that was always because that watercolor paper before was cheaper. And I don't think that was actually the issue. I think this tape is just a pain in the butt. So I need to either throw it out or remind myself not to use it as the bottom layer, or to not use it when I'm taping off artwork. It can be used when I'm taping other things down, but not like this, because it is being a pain in the butt and it's ruining some of my work And I don't like that. It's not cool. I mean, you spend all of this time trying to make a nice piece, and then things completely out of your control come in and ruin it at the last second. I can't imagine what I would do if this had been a client piece. I would have probably freaked out and possibly restarted, and that would have been the absolute last step of the process. I mean, peeling up the tape, this is the last thing I do. So I think I just need to, I don't want to throw the tape out. I don't want to waste resources, but I need to remind myself that it's only good for taping things in my sketchbook that are not coming out. So if I want to tape in artwork, or I like to tape in little things that I collect, sometimes like movie tickets or other weird little things, into my sketchbook, it's good for that, but anywhere else is not good. And I believe previous videos, I'd have to go back and check. Maybe you can go back and check for me and come back and comment here if that's not too much work. I've been using washi tape to tape my paintings. I thought I had used this tape previously and I hadn't had an issue with it, but maybe I did use washi tape and that's the reason why I didn't have an issue. If it wasn't, I don't know why all of a sudden it's causing an issue, and if it was washi tape before, then that totally explains it. Sometimes I don't like using washi tape to tape off my paintings, because when I use my heat gun, if the washi tape is really cheap, which I like to buy inexpensive supplies where I can, it kind of curls up and then I get paint underneath the tape, and I really, really don't like that. I love that smooth, crisp edge that you can get when you tape off your paintings, and that's only half the reason why I tape off my paintings. Another reason I do it is because I feel like it helps keep the paper flat while you're working on it, and that can be a huge issue in watercolor paintings, especially if you like to do washes or build things up, if you want to keep things from buckling more. It really helps. So I like taping down my paintings. I'm going to continue to do it. If you guys have any recommendations on tape to use, please let me know. I know the tape looks in the video, it looks like masking tape. I promise you it is not masking tape. I know not to use masking tape on watercolor paper. It almost always ruins it. It's professional tape. It's supposed to have a lower grade tack. I've had it for 4 or 5 years, and I feel like I've had this issue with it on other projects as well. Like I said, I thought that was because the paper quality wasn't as good, but clearly it's the tape. Maybe I can do some research on this tape and figure out if other people have been having this issue, and if so, then it's going to take me a while to get through this roll, because I'm already probably only halfway through, and I've had it for 4 years because I keep avoiding using it because I don't want it to ruin my project. So you're probably asking yourself, if I'm avoiding using it, then why did I start using it again? And that's because I thought it would be fine in this paper, but it wasn't. So anyways, let's go back to talking about this painting that I'm working on. Or should I call it a set of paintings? I'm not totally sure about that one, actually. I like aspects of it, and I dislike aspects of it. I feel like I was a lot happier with it right after I finished it, and then I worked on some other projects that I ended up liking a little bit more, and when I looked back on this one, it felt like it didn't have as much detail in it as I like to put into my work, and as much completion. I felt like it kind of had this incomplete look, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being picky because I am the artist, and artists tend to be their harshest critics. I'm not totally sure, but I do know that I liked this piece at one point, and now I wouldn't say I dislike it, but it's not my favorite. And so I think one of the things I would have done to make myself like it a little bit more is possibly have some more detailing in their faces. I'm not totally sure where I would have done this. Possibly make them bigger, or just go in with more details with pen and ink, or maybe some more watercolor texture. I'm not totally sure, but that is something I would definitely improve. Something I really like is the background texture, especially on the night piece. I just think it looks really, really nice. In fact, if I had to choose a favorite overall, it would be the night piece. I'm not 100% sure what the reasoning behind me liking her more is. Maybe I'm just drawn to those colors more, or how I use them, or maybe it's because I had like more of a clear vision in mind for her. I also worked on her kind of first, so maybe that helped out a lot. But yeah, I like her more than the day piece. I've been experimenting a little bit more with painting darker skin, and so I'm really happy that I incorporated it here. I think she has a really, really beautiful complexion, and it's nice to be able to do something more than just pale. Yeah. I think if I had to choose, sorry to go back to this, but if I had to choose why I wasn't happy with their faces, I think their noses are what's kind of drive me a little bit crazy. I feel like I don't have enough shading around that part of their face, and so it just feels really, really flat. But that's an issue for another time. The other small thing that I think makes me not like the daytime as much is I didn't get the bottom to top gradient as nice as I did on the nighttime. And the nighttime you can see kind of like darker blues down at the bottom going up to lighter blues, whereas in the day I just didn't get it to work how I wanted it to, and that frustrated me. I did get a little bit of texture in both of the pieces, which was nice. I've been working recently on trying to do that, and I feel like it's been successful. That is going to be a big aspect of next week's actually, so I'll talk about texture a lot more then, but it's just kind of nice not to worry so much about trying to get things flat and perfect in the first wash, and allowing the watercolor to work kind of how it wants to and let it do a lot of the work and be natural, and it's just nice. Anyways, one of the other comments I thought of was that I wanted the daytime to have a little bit more red in it. I really like my crow companion piece that I did, where it kind of goes from red to orange to blue to navy in the background, and the parts where it's like red and orange together, I love how that looks, and I wanted to do it with this piece, and I didn't get it there, and it's something I try again next week. And I didn't quite get it there either, so get ready for that combination to come back again in the future. I am so excited about this sketchbook project, though. I think it's been really, really fun to work on, and I'm really happy that you guys could join me for this, that I'm videoing it so you can watch it. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're having a lovely day and possibly sketching along with me. That would be absolutely awesome. Or, you know what, doing any kind of art or activities while you're watching me paint, because, you know, these videos are a little bit long, but I enjoy these types of videos, and I enjoy watching them while I paint, so I'm making them for other people to enjoy. Well, the video has a few minutes left, so you know what that means. We're going to be talking about what's going on in my week this week. As I've been accidentally calling it in the past, my recommendations. Aren't you proud of me for not messing up and saying it and then pointing out that I didn't mess up and saying it by saying it anyways? Oh boy, I'm a piece of work. Anyways, what am I watching, listening to, and reading this week? I am reading the 5th season. I'll have to list the author down below. I cannot think of her name off the top of my head, but it is an epic fantasy that is told in multiple POVs, and one of the POVs is second-person perspective. Super unique. I have not read a book like this before. I recommend it. Yeah, it's really, really good. And the author is a woman of color. I feel like women of color don't get represented enough in the fantasy genre, so respect when they actually get to do something and do it successfully, and this book is definitely successful. I'm really, really enjoying it. Also, she has a large representation of women and different skin tones in the book, and that's really cool to read. I enjoy the representation of all. So if you're okay with, I wouldn't call it dark, but I would definitely say there are a few mature themes throughout, go ahead and check this book out. It's a good read. I enjoy it a lot. I'm probably going to be reading the second and third very shortly. I hope to get to them in November, so maybe you'll be hearing about me reading those in the next few weeks to come. I am currently rewatching Gilmore Girls, I think for the third time. I finished up Series of Unfortunate Events, and I meant to go back to Peaky Blinders, but I wanted something really funny, so I decided to rewatch that. I know I won't finish it, and I don't think I finished it the second time I rewatched it either. It kind of just gets dull near the end, so but I enjoy it for what it is. Simple comedy, heartwarming. It's nothing I really have to pay super close attention to, but I enjoy having it on in the background while I'm painting. I know a lot of people have problems with the show, but it is what it is. I enjoy it, so that's what I'm watching this week. Hopefully next week I can tell you that I've actually made it farther in Peaky Blinders. It is my goal to get some more of that TV show done. I kind of promised my friend that I would at least finish the first episode soon, because I'm still 30 minutes into the 45 minutes of the first episode. I really, really, really want to watch the Mandalorian TV show that Disney Star Wars is putting out, but I don't have Disney Plus and I don't know anyone with it, so my dreams are going to be crushed. Mandalorians are literally my favorite people ever in the Star Wars universe. I love them. I love Mandalore. He's my favorite. He's so cool. If you've only seen the movies, you don't know who he is. I apologize for getting on this rant, but I keep seeing trailers for the TV show and freaking out because I'm not able to watch it. So just hopefully soon I'll be able to come to you guys and say that I got to watch it, and hopefully with that I'll be able to tell you how great it was, because I have high expectations. Oh God, high expectations, that's what ruins all good things, aren't they? Oh boy. So that leaves me with the final bit of information about my week, and that would be music. I actually am not listening to music this week, so I've been listening to my audiobook a lot, which is the 5th season. I'm listening to that. I'm reading a few other books physically. I'll talk about them next week. I keep saying I'll talk about stuff next week. I apologize. I guess you'll just have to check back in next week if you want to hear about it. Anyways, so I've been listening to the audiobook for that, and I just finished another audiobook at the beginning of this week. So I haven't been listening to much music, but I did listen to some while I was working out today. So I guess I'll just name a few of those songs for you. So if you're looking for something good, I'd recommend listening to, the band is called Hippocampus. It's hippo, like the animal, space, campus, like the school, but also when you put it together, it's like the part of the brain. It's awesome. Cool band name. Yeah. They're very alternative. I'd say maybe alternative indie, alternative pop, whatever you want to call them. I like a lot of their music. They kind of lean into rock in some areas. They have a lot of really good songs. My favorite is the song South. It's been at the top of my playlist for a long, long time. I really enjoy it. They have a few other songs. I know one of theirs is Suicide Saturday. That's another good one. Right now I'm pulling a blank on some of the other names, but check out South by Hippocampus. Really good band, really enjoyable song. That would be, of course, if you enjoy more alternative music. I really enjoy alternative, indie, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that's my number one genre. I always tell people that my number one genre is folk. It's what I like listening to, but I've been exploring some different things recently, and by recently I mean the past year and a half. I've been exploring a lot more of heavier music and a little bit more electric music. I wouldn't say I listen to electric music, but I'm leaning more towards that. So yes, I love folk. I listen to it a lot, but I've also been mixing in a few things with some not so acoustic instruments, and it's been fun to have the variety. I can totally blame some of my friends for that, but anyways, I'm so glad you could be with me today while I paint these 2 paintings, and I hope you like them. If you have any suggestions for what I can talk about in the future, please comment down below. I enjoy any and all feedback. Please be constructive. Please be polite, of course. But I hope you're having a really good day. If you have made it this far into the video, I'd like to quickly say that I am going to be releasing a new video series. It's going to be related to more reading related stuff. I'll still be doing the Sketchbook Sundays every Sunday, but for the next 6 weeks on Wednesdays, I'm going to be releasing something a little bit different. So stay tuned and please enjoy that. And it will all make total sense this Wednesday when the first video comes out. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.